I'm Haley Taylor, and you're listening to The Rough Draft Diaries. Today on The Rough Draft Diaries, we're headed outside of Toledo, but not too far. We're just in Findlay, Ohio.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, my name is Dr. Jazz Bradley, she, her pronouns, and I'm the Executive Director at Lgbtq Spectrum of Findlay.
As you could probably tell, Jazz is not from Northwest Ohio. She's from Nottingham in the UK. She moved to Ohio just about 16 years ago, now working at Spectrum of Findlay, a nonprofit that looks to empower the LGBTQ+ community to lead healthy, successful lives through focused resources, inclusive activities, and a vibrant, supportive network.
There's really a lot of education and advocacy work that is very important. What I find sometimes in the community is that a lot of the stigma that then drives some of the decision making actually can be dispelled once we sort of meet, human to human and start having discussions, and people can start asking the questions and just feel a bit more comfortable about their own knowledge of the LGBTQ+ community. So I think really, I started working with Spectrum of Findlay in 2017. And it's been that steady kind of increase of those conversations and that kind of like reflection from people in positions of leadership. And all of that has really trickled down to where we are today, where, we just did our Pride. It was the 20th time we've done some kind of Pride in Findlay. And we had like 3,000 people show up at the park. And it was just a great day of kind of love and unity and acceptance and all that is possible in places and spaces that without that kind of representation can feel very isolating and not possible. So it's pretty magical.
And Jazz knows firsthand how isolating it can be. And growing up in rural England, Jazz never had the opportunity to see herself represented in the fellow students, friends, or adults that were a part of her local community.
Yeah, definitely. I think anybody that's doing this kind of advocacy work, a lot of people have that lived experience themselves. And I can definitely relate to kind of my younger years and feeling very isolated in some of the thoughts I was having and feeling very like, oh, there's something wrong with me. I'm not right. And maybe I shouldn't be in this world. And all of those kind of thoughts that just, when you don't see yourself represented, honestly, I couldn't see a career for myself. I couldn't see a path for myself because where would I fit in? Where do I see myself? And I mean, that drives the work in a big, big way. And especially when we're out in the park and you see so many young people that are then seeing all these organizations and supportive entities and seeing queer people actually thriving and doing well in Northwest Ohio, it's deeply impactful.
Spectrum of Findlay offers a wide range of support, whether that's free HIV testing, exercise classes, allyship building courses, suicide prevention resources, and of course the most obvious celebration, Pride, the annual parade that celebrates life within the LGBTQ+ community. But with all these programs and parades, Jazz mentioned there's still more work ahead.
You can't just put rainbows on everything and call it good. So there is a lot of infrastructure work that needs to happen in the community, and that's about building up protections. Do we need to update the ordinance, local ordinances to provide better protections? We need to do more training and education in the community. We need to sort of somehow engage people that feel like, oh, this isn't really a me issue. We need to somehow engage them to care and want to kind of just examine their own thinking and biases, because I think that's where we'll get the infrastructure change that really needs to happen. Some that's a little bit, maybe, it's just a bit misguided, right? So one of the biggest things is, anybody from the LGBTQ+ community is sick, they need help. And then the other one that's big is, well, it's all like perversion. There's very just like this strong connection with kind of perversion in the LGBTQ+ community. And so those are the two biggest kind of stigma barriers that we definitely are going to be working on.
In the meantime, Jazz gave advice for anyone within the community who is experiencing those stigma barriers. that roadblock that obstructs the way of acceptance and understanding.
Just keep believing that it can be better, and I think keep searching for that representation. If people aren't really bringing it up to you, keep going out and finding it. I think that's seeing people in the world was the number one thing that really kind of started to change my worldview. And so, you know, you might feel anxious about going to a pride or something like that, but just do it, because I think that there's a lot of people that love you, and you're supposed to be here, and you're supposed to live out your full potential. And so even if you don't believe that right now, there's a lot of people that believe that for you.
I'm Haley Taylor, and thanks for listening to this episode of the Rough Draft Diaries.